Time is running short for Capitol Hill Republicans hoping to pass the president's massive tax and spending plan by his self-imposed deadline. Republicans don't need a single Democratic vote if they can keep their side of the aisle united. Congressional correspondent Lisa Desjardins joins us now. So Lisa, you were on the Hill all day. Now you're here in the studio, and the Senate is trying to pass this bill by as soon as this weekend. Is that right? But the Republicans, even among themselves, have a lot of issues about how this bill's turned out so far. Bring us up to speed.
They do. There are important developments here in just the last 2 days. And I want to remind viewers, I warned you I would say this again, this could be the largest by money numbers bill in American history. So it's so important to pay attention right now. What we're watching especially is a Senate parliamentarian. She has the ability to rule whether the provisions in this bill meet the budget rules to go through under the process that they're using. And she has made some important rulings. I want to talk to you about what's in and what's out of this bill. So far, the parliamentarian has ruled out of the bill that limit on courts and their ability to enforce injunctions against President Trump. That is out of the bill. Also out of the bill, per her rulings, a sale of vast amounts, millions of acres of federal land. In addition, out is the initial SNAP, used to be called food stamps, changes that would have cut over $100 billion from that program. But today, in the bill, a different version of that. And this is what's important to remember is Republicans, as they're getting these rulings day by day, are trying to come up with different versions of these provisions that can pass muster with the parliamentarian. We are waiting tonight to find out about some of the biggest, which is Medicaid. There is a provider tax change in that. That's a lot of kind of Washington gobbledygook, but it's a way that states can use money, fund money to get more federal dollars on Medicaid. Republicans see it as a scam. We're waiting to see how the parliamentarian sees it.
So what's the realistic timeline for the Congress to pass a bill this big?
You know what? Reality and Congress are like, I don't know, like water and outer space. Like it just doesn't, they don't really go together, but we are trying to game this out and figure things out. Senator Thune, the leader, would like to get this passed by this weekend. So under his idea, yes, they potentially could do it if everything comes into place. What is helping him is pressure from President Donald Trump. I want to show you how he is stepping up the deadline pressure. This is what he wrote in social media today. Get the deal done this week, and no one goes on vacation until it's done. I can tell you that senators will for sure stay in town this weekend until it gets done, but we don't know about the House. We expect the House to have to react to this. Now, what I also want to talk about is the steps that are needed to pass this bill now. The timeline is important here. First, as I said, the parliamentarian must go through everything in the proposal. Then Senate Republicans have to release their draft bill. We don't even have the text of this bill yet, and it is a massive one. Then the full Senate would vote. That would take 1 to 3 days, and then it would go back to the House. So this would be lightning speed to get it done by the end of next week. It's not impossible, but they also do not have all the votes pinned down yet.
You know, Lisa, it seems like every time a big bill like this is up for discussion, the question is, will it pass? Will it pass? And it always seems to pass. I mean, might that be the case this time as well?
I know. This is people are always like, you always are making us think like, oh, it's on a knife's edge. I think the question here is not if, but when and what, because they are negotiating some major provisions in this bill, and I'm not clear they can get this done in the timeline they want. I want to look at some of the problems that they're having even right now. First of all, one of the major issues is state and local tax deductions. This is a make or break issue. And you can look here, those are 5 Republicans in the House that say they will not vote for anything unless it meets their $40,000 threshold for that deduction. Now, the problem is some senators don't like that either. They want that out. They disagree with them. Another issue, climate and the tax credits for solar and wind, for example, in this bill. There is a group of Republicans that look at these who are fighting for more renewable energy credits in this bill. Those are 4 senators. They have the power to make or break this bill. But then you go back to the House, and there are, including one senator, there are enough who want to make those tax credits go away faster. So the Republicans have to negotiate these very difficult groups. And the biggest one is Medicaid. The biggest concern right now, rural hospitals, which stand to lose a lot of money, they say, and could make or break their bottom line, depending on how the Senate handles this bill.
Lisa Desjardins, our thanks to you and your team on the Hill. As always, appreciate it.
You're welcome.